Okay, guys, so we are talking about titles, what to capitalize, how to know when to italicize, and when to write them in quotation marks. This is chapter 38 in your book. We always want to italicize what your book calls longer works. I always like to say big things. And in your Comp 1 class, your MLA style will probably call them containers. We want to put quotation marks around smaller things. So I think a really easy way of thinking about this is to look at this example that is television shows. You would italicize the title of an entire television show, like Friends, but you would put in quotations the title of an individual episode. So that's why I like to think of it as big thing versus small thing. The big thing is the entire show itself. The small thing is the individual episode. So we would put quotations around the one where Rachel has a baby. It's easy to think about this with albums. So the entire album that has all of the songs in it, that would go in italics, while the name of an individual song would go in quotation marks. So for example, the band Big Star has a record called Number One Record. That would go in italics, and a song off of that album is a song called 13, which would go in quotation marks. Other things to think about: a book is much larger than, say, an individual poem or a short story. Right now, my literature students are reading As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. Maybe in your Comp 1 class, you're reading A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. As I Lay Dying is a book, so we put that in italics. And A Rose for Emily is a short story, so we put that in quotation marks. Another way to think about that is that we have a newspaper in Tennessee, our state newspaper, or in Nashville anyways, our biggest newspaper is the Tennessean. That goes in italics, but if we had an article in it about, I don't know, tornadoes hit Nashville, that would go in quotations because that's the smaller thing. Magazine titles are going to go in italics, so Vogue. Plays or operas, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Films, Toy Story. All of these go in italics because they are bigger things. Shorter things like poems, The Raven, they go in quotation marks. And that's an easy way to think about that. Notice my capitalization as I was typing. Smaller words like prepositions, like of, do not get capitalized. Smaller words like articles, like a, do not get capitalized unless they're the first word of the title. So no matter what you're doing, the first word of the title, so a or the, will always be capitalized. So keep that in mind.